Hello, Andy. So finally, I'm sitting alone in the garden with a bit of space on my own, a bit of time to speak with you. Um, First of all, I want to say thank you to you and your friends from all of us in Chimanimani. Thank you for being so generous and already raising an amazing amount in your GoFundMe account to help Chimanimani. Perhaps I better introduce myself if this is going to go to others. So I'm Tempe van der Reet. I'm actually born and bred in Chimanimani, Zimbabwe, and we still live here. And we were here, living here during the cyclone 3 weeks ago. Andy asked me to share with you what it's like on the ground here, what's happened in Chimanimani in the last 3 weeks. Okay, Andy, so the night the cyclone really hit us, Friday the 16th, was a shocking night just because nature was chucking everything it had at us. There was this terrible roaring sound and pouring rain and thunder and lightning, and the ground was vibrating. It felt so ominous. We were petrified. But even though we were petrified, when we woke up in the morning, still raining, we never dreamt that that rain could have caused so much damage in the night. And I have to tell you that it took weeks to take on board quite the extent of the damage. I found this with all my friends, that at first you only look at your own little area and it's like, oh, thank God we're all right. Oh, look at my garden. Oh, the tree's down. And then drive a bit further. Oh no, what's happened to the golf course? And then that road gets cleared a bit, or somebody goes walking and they're like, oh no, in Gangu. Oh, there's so many people dead in the nearby village. Oh, the houses are all washed away. This is terrible. Oh no, we can't even get out of Chimanimani. All the roads are washed away. And so on until eventually you think you've got it all on board. And then, like yesterday, I went to visit 2 African friends that have always sold me honey that live in Ngangu, and I'd already phoned them and said, are you all right? Yes, they're fine, they said. So I went to visit them. Well, to start with, the road was so transformed, I didn't even know if I was on the right road. Like, normally I turned by the Jehovah's Witness church. It was gone. There were just huge rocks where there should be road, and houses disappeared as if somebody had played Russian roulette and said, let's take out that one, that one, that one, that one, we'll leave that one and that one, but cover it up to the windows in mud. Whole yard, whole area just covered in rocks. And I got to Charlene and Timber's house, and they were dying to talk to me and show me everything. They're like, the children were asleep in this room and the mud came in the window, and our neighbors there are all dead and our neighbors that side are all dead. Oh, and I was shocked and sad all over again, because when it comes down to the human level, I know I've had lots of people coming to the house asking for help, asking for blankets, asking for food, asking for money, but just talking to them, even though it's tragic and you feel so sorry, it still doesn't bring it home to you like it does when you're standing there looking at what's left of their lives. Horrible. Ups and downs. When you get a little bit of hope, you hear a road has been opened and 4x4s can get in, and then you hear it's raining again and actually they can't get in and the bridge they're coming over is about to fall in. And very exciting when you hear about all the food being collected outside and the incredible charity of the whole world and the country. And then the fact that it actually can't get to the people because there's no roads and not enough helicopters. Also exhausting because so many people have come wanting to help and we don't quite know how to help ourselves at times. The biggest need to us seems to be the roads, which is in the hands of much bigger players, and I think they are working the impossible to fix roads, although there's still no decent road into Chimanimani, but 4x4s can get in through 2 different routes now. Still, you can't get to the neighboring villages where the worst damage was done by the floodwater from Chimanimani village. Sorry, the whole district's called Chimanimani, but the village where I live is Chimanimani village. And we were in the epicenter of the cyclone, but the huge amount of water that brought the landslides down here then flooded the 2 huge river systems that go from here into Mozambique in the southern end of Chimanimani district. So after 3 weeks, we still have no electricity in the village, which isn't easy for anybody. Many people who lost their homes, you know, there's about 500 dead. I can't tell you how many homes washed away. But if you look at this whole suburb that we have down the road, even the suburb in front of my house, it's not hospitable to live there anymore. The few houses that are still standing there, the people are terrified. that it's going to happen again and they want to move. So there's still no electricity. Many of them lost their phones. Those who do have phones, they can't charge them with no electricity. So for me, trying to send money to people that are really needy has also been difficult. There's many aid organizations now in here all tripping over themselves to help, but poorly coordinated. I'm not sure what the problem is really, because there is a command center, but I think probably they're snowed under. There's homeless people still living at hotel, club, schools, but I see the UN have put in a whole lot of tents in the little park we have in the middle of the village called the Arboretum. But then I heard today that they're actually not going to move in there because there's a problem with sewerage. But there's also so many rumors, I can't tell you exactly what's the truth there. And I think there's a slight problem of these aid organizations coming in and actually not bothering to communicate with people here on the ground. Certainly I saw them putting in a borehole in the Arboretum, and my husband said, well, I could have told them that they'd just get mud from that. Do you know how much it costs to put in a borehole? Chimani is a small village. Now all these aid organizations need accommodation. Canadian Disaster Relief Fund, German, United Nations, Medicine Sans Frontier, all asking for office space for the next 6 months and accommodation. I heard somebody was even asking for a property with a Dura wall and a generator and security guards. I mean, this is a safe little village. We've never had such things in our lives. So it is all a bit mind-boggling sometimes. What's still needed in Chimanimani? Well, that's a hard question, even for me living here. I can see that there's a big problem with the water supply. That used to come from a weir at the top of Bridalveil Falls, which is all washed away. Now there's little black poly pipes going up to every stream on the mountains, but I don't know if they'll last into the dry season. It's still it's the end of the rainy season now. Homeless people living in tents. I don't know if it's that satisfactory with winter coming. I think it's going to be pretty freezing. And also, if you left it to the African people, a lot of them have other homes outside. And I think if it was just an African problem, the solution would be that they would move back to other homes. But now, because there's so much aid here and so much food and stuff being dished out, I think instead of getting smaller, which should happen, our population's actually getting bigger. And actually, there's not that much livable ground left because every valley is just a mess of rocks and mud from the landslides. I was even trying to put my mind to thinking where we could make a new rubbish dump because the other one washed away in the floods to Mozambique. And I can't figure out where to put a rubbish dump. So for now, people are just tipping all their rubbish over the edge of the roads into the great crevasses that have been formed by the floods. And I've always had an obsession about litter, so that hurts me. The people of Chimanimani, the African people, are very resilient. I see the shops have got stocked again. This morning I even managed to buy dairy meal for my cows. I don't know how they're managing to sell any food with the amount of food aid that's coming in. But I have heard lots of reports like the food aid coming from the government. It's so chaotic. They have huge piles of cooking oil, huge piles of mini meal. But when they want to give it out, like they should give it in family packs so everybody gets a bit of cooking oil, a bit of mealie meal, a bit of sugar, a bit of salt, the basics that they live on. But they haven't even managed to get sacks to pack it nicely. Miracle Missions, on the other hand, the people that all donated food in the whole country, they've actually got as far as packaging it beautifully. So when it can get in here, it's very easy to pop onto a helicopter to send to the unreachable places, the places where you can't drive. And it's also easy to distribute. I think a big need, besides electricity, which hampers everything if you don't have electricity, is to get the businesses up and running again. So, for example, my husband's a sawmiller. He can't drive to his sawmill at the moment, and you can't cut timber without electricity. And then when you do have 30-ton lorries full of timber to get out of Chimanimani, there's no decent road to get from Tilbury, where the sawmill is, to the village, which should take about an hour, and then another 2 hours to Matari. There's actually at the moment still no way that a lorry could go that way. And like in Resitu, there's the main income is selling bananas. They've got fields and fields of bananas down there, but now they can't get them to market. So there's going to be a lot of suffering just because people's businesses are finished in this district. Okay, Andy, I'm struggling now to think what I have or haven't told you. Maybe if you've got any more questions, you could ask me.